His mother had been dead for 6 months, so when her voice called his name in the bush at midnight, he knew he should not answer. He answered anyway, and what followed him home was not her. The village sat at the edge of the world, or so it felt. On one side, the huts and fires and laughter of the living, on the other, the bush, dense, dark, and endless. A boundary marked by red stones separated the two. No one crossed it after sunset. That was the oldest law. Mama Thandi, the village elder, had told this story 1,000 times. If the bush calls your name, you do not answer. You tighten your lips and walk faster. The bush wants company, not friendship. It wants your shadow, and if you give your shadow, you will not get it back. Lewei had listened to these stories since childhood. He respected Mama Thandi, but he did not fear the bush as she did. He believed ghosts lived only where guilt did. But that night, walking the path past the yam fields with a torch and a basket of herbs, he heard it, soft, trembling, threaded through the wind. "Lewei, my son, help me." His mother's voice, the same voice that whispered to him during fevers, the same voice that said in her final hour, "Do not leave me alone." He froze. The torch flickered. From behind him, Mama Thandi's staff struck the dirt. "Boy," she called, her wrinkled face glowing in the torchlight. "Keep walking. Do not speak to shadows." Lewei turned to her. "Did you hear that? It's her, my mother." Mama Thandi stepped forward. "The dead do not call the living unless the bush carries their voice, and the bush has hunger." "But what if she is lost? What if her spirit cannot rest?" "Those who answer never sleep again. They return changed, hollow like clay that forgot the sun." Lewei hesitated. Then the voice came again, softer, more broken. "Lewei, I cannot find the way home." He whispered, "Mama Thandi, if it were your child calling, would you ignore it?" She gripped her staff. "The bush borrows love to feed on disobedience." He stepped forward anyway. But what Lewei did not know, what no one in this village had understood for generations, was that Mama Thandi had heard a voice from the bush too, 30 years ago, her own son, and she had obeyed the law. She had walked away. She never forgave herself. His lips trembled, then parted. "Mother, I am here." The torch went out. All light died. For a heartbeat, the night exhaled, long, slow, like something that had been waiting. A shape formed at the edge of the bush, a woman's outline, thin, swaying. Lewei took one step closer. The figure's eyes glistened silver under the new moon. "Why did you leave me?" she said. His chest ached. "I tried to save you." Her head tilted, unnatural, too far. "Then why are you still breathing?" Wind exploded through the clearing. Mama Thandi chanted behind him, words old as dust, but the air thickened, swallowing her voice. Lewei staggered back into the village light, gasping. The bush fell silent. That night, he dreamed of roots curling under his door, vines whispering his name from the corners. The next morning, his shadow was longer. By evening, it had begun to move before he did. Children saw it and screaming saw it. Days passed. Lewei grew pale, sleepless. He heard his mother's voice everywhere, from wells, from cooking pots, from the wind twisting through the maze. He tried to confess to Mama Thandi, "It follows me. I only wanted to help her." She nodded sadly. "Love is the easiest road to ruin."
She gave him chalk and ash. Draw the mark of stillness on your door. When it calls again, do not speak. The ancestors ask only one thing of those who listen. Share the story. A like, a subscribe, that's how legends survive. Now listen closely, because what happened on the seventh night changed everything. And the truth carved in the earth will make you question every word Mama Thandi ever spoke. On the seventh night, rain began. The village huddled indoors. Lewei sat before his dying fire, clutching his mother's torn scarf. 3 knocks on the window, slow, deliberate. A woman's voice outside. "Lewei, it is cold." He squeezed his eyes shut. It is not her, not her. The knocks continued. Then a second voice joined, small, childlike. "Papa." His wife, his child, both taken by the fever too. They whispered through the wood, "You promised never to let us die alone." His heart broke. He stood. He unbolted the door. Rain poured in, washing away the chalk mark. Standing there were the shadows of his family, dripping, smiling faintly. But behind them, larger shadows loomed, shifting like smoke. "Mama Thandi," he called, "help me." The elder burst in, throwing salt across the threshold. "Turn away! They are not yours anymore." Lewei's gaze softened. He looked at the shadow of his child, small and reaching upward. "Then whose are they?" he whispered. He stepped into the rain, taking his child's hand, cold as river stone, and vanished into the bush. By dawn, the storm cleared. Lewei's house was empty, only footprints leading toward the boundary, and on the wind, faint and distant, voices whispered new names. Mama Thandi walked to the boundary carrying a bowl of red earth. She scattered it and murmured, "One voice answered, many will call." But here is the part the village never learned. Weeks later, hunters found something beyond the boundary, a circle of stones newly placed, marking a space that looked like a grave. Inside the circle lay Lewei's torch, still burning, though it had rained the night he vanished. Carved in the earth beside it, 5 words, "Do not believe the elder." Mama Thandi came to see it herself. She stared at the carving, trembling. A whisper crawled through the reeds. "He freed us, Thandi." Her eyes widened. For the first time in her long life, she hesitated. What if the bush does not feed on the living, but imprisons the dead? The wind shifted, carrying laughter, gentle, familiar, her own son's laughter, the son she had refused to answer 30 years ago. She stepped forward toward the boundary, just once, just to listen. The bush called her name. She did not answer, but she did smile. And in the darkness beyond the red stones, a voice, warm, patient, eternal, whispered, "We will wait, Mother. We have always waited."